time for Tap That Trade, one of our most popular segments with pro traders Phil Flynn, a Fox Business Network News contributor, and Alan Knuckman, the chief market strategist at bullseyeoption.com. Round number one, guys. Trader versus investor. Why is it important to know the difference?
Well, now in 2025, everybody is a trader, okay? A trader used to be a disparaging term for someone that was very active and maybe traded for minutes. It's not about the time that you trade. It's about having a plan and having a discipline where you want to get in, where you want to get out. The time frame doesn't matter. I could trade for 5 minutes or I could trade for 5 months. That makes me a trader. If you're an investor, you really don't have a plan. Your only plan is hope. You're hoping that you can be successful.
Are you a sprinter or a marathon runner, right? I mean, that's kind of the difference, right? There's not a right answer. I mean, it's great to be either one. If you're a great marathon runner, that's awesome, right? But it's not the same as being a sprinter, and sometimes they don't coexist. So I think when it comes to being a successful trader, you have to look at your own circumstances, right? Your own emotional makeup and your time. You know, if you want to be a sprinter, you better be ready to act quick and run and, be fast and be the first one in line, But if you're not that way, you might want to look at the long run, look at the marathon, look at the long game. So it's really going to be up to you and your personality. And if you're not sure which way you want to go, definitely seek out some advice. Maybe even people in your family can tell you, hey, I don't think you're a day trader. Just buy a 401k and don't look at it for a couple years.
Round number two, news versus noise. Market moving news is constantly coming in. What are your pro trader newsy and noisy trading tips?
I think that goes back to the last question. Are you a sprinter or a marathon runner, right? The marathon runners don't have to worry about that as much, right? Because usually these headlines have a tendency to overreact one direction and go back. But in the long run, it's really not changing that much. But if you're one of these sprinter day traders, it's huge, right? When these headlines come across, it can change the direction of a market on a dime. The key thing is to plan your trades and control your risk. And when you're in this kind of a situation, you won't be caught, with a big move. I know, for example, in the copper market just recently, copper was in a beautiful uptrend. You got a headline from President Trump, and then the prices had a huge crash. So if you weren't paying attention, if you didn't have a stop in, you could have gone from, thousands of dollars of profits to, $25,000 in losses in a very short period of time.
Well, there's a lot of information now, actually too much information. So it's hard for people to distill it and figure out what's most important. But for me, it's all about price. Look to see how the markets react. Now, having all this information is great. Now it's democratized trading and investing because now anyone has access to all of the opportunities we have. Up, down, sideways, any market, any time, there's always opportunities. So that's good. And the barriers to entry are none. Anybody can click on their computer and trade like the biggest traders in the world.
Round three, opinions versus apples. Apples are plentiful and so are market opinions. What's your opinion on opinions?
Apples, apples, apples. Everybody has plenty of apples. That is for sure. So, I found in my life that opinions are dangerous. If you have a certain bias, you're going to look for that confirmation and you're not going to admit you're wrong. So, following someone else's opinions or our opinions, I think we're rooted in fact, but we always have, a risk parameter to our investment of ideas, and we know when to say when. It's not about getting married to a trade is the phrase that we used when we were younger, but just looking for there's constant opportunities, taking advantage of what the markets have, and when you're wrong, and so is your opinion.
Facts are stubborn things, but statistics are pliable, right? I think that was Mark Twain that said that. When you get into a certain mindset, there's no such things as facts, because when you're talking about investing, it's always the future, right? You can have facts, you can have hard data, right? But the data can change based on new news, new market conditions. So you'll always have to be adaptable. That goes back to what we said earlier, plan your trade, and trade your plan. And if you stick to that, more often than not, you're going to be doing much better over the long run.
Here's your bonus round question for today. Are the following tickers true or false? Biz, B-I-Z, first spelled F-R-S-T, and B, fam.
All true. Bam,
all
bam,
true.
Bam, bam.
All are true tickers. You guys are winners. We thank you so much. We love you. Business First AM will be right back.